Good morning, all. This would be our little video about us heading up to the White Mountains and our ride from Alpine to Clifton down 191. The we would be me, old Mr. Fumblefingers, and my buddy Charles, who's visiting from Pascagoula, Mississippi. We're going to head up. Going to do this a little different. We're going to go down through Tombstone, Bisbee, Douglas, back up to Lordsburg, New Mexico, over to Globe, and then up 60 through Salt River Canyon. Pretty ride. And then I think we're going to go over to Pie Town, New Mexico, and get a pie. Believe it or not, there's a couple of 3 stores there, and that's all they do is serve pie. Should be fun. So anyway, and then we'll come back down. We'll hit 191, the quote-unquote Devil's Highway. That used to be old Route 666. But anyway, it is crooked and could be dangerous if you got in too big of a hurry, I guess. But anyway, first off, we have to go over to stop at Walmart in Benson. Charles has to pick up a couple of items that he forgot to bring. And then we'll be on the road to Tombstone. Probably stopped at St. Anthony's Church there to look at the roses. That's pretty cool. I'll tell you more about it when we get there. And then down to Bisbee, another cool little town. Stop by and look at the Copper Queen mine. And down to Douglas. Probably duck the gunshots from across the border there. Then up to, I think there's a town called Rodeo. There's not much there. I've been past it a couple of times. It's kind of almost a 20th century ghost town. And then on up to Lordsburg. Lordsburg's, I don't think it's known for anything, but we'll pick up US 70 and head over to Safford. Then up to Globe. We'll probably spend the night in either Safford or Globe, depending on the weather. If it gets real hot, Charles is not good about that, or good with that. So we will, if it's real hot, we'll stop early in Safford. If not, we'll go on down to Globe and might even take a look at one of their gold mines, and then back over to through the canyon up to Springerville, and then to Pie Town. Then should be fun. Should be a real nice 2-3 days, depending on how it goes. So anyway, I'll check in with you when we get to Walmart. I'll talk to you later. That didn't take long, did it? Son of a gun. So anyway, Charles is going to go in here and get his stuff. I'll see if I can get a candid shot of him coming out. He's kind of bashful about pictures. There he is, 81 years old, and probably can kick your butt. I know he can kick mine on a racetrack or on a bike fast. Okay, now we're off to Tombstone. This shouldn't take very long. I don't Biggest problem is to clear Benson. Once we get through Benson, we'll be heading on down 80 to Tombstone, the tourist town, too hyped up to die. Should we say a tourist trap too hyped up to die? But we'll probably stop there at the church. Not for long, and that's right on 80, which is Fremont Street. Need to pick up a little gas here at Circle K. Distances are pretty vast out here in southeastern Arizona. It's about, I don't know, probably 50 miles to Douglas. The sad part is they have to get gas in Douglas because of the distance between Douglas and Lordsburg, because there ain't nothing between them two. I've been over there a couple of times, and it is pretty scarce and sparse. That would be old Mr. Fumblefingers in front of you. I'm the junior partner of this thing. Charles is 81. I'm only 76. So now we'll head on over to St. Anthony's. We'll pull a quick stop there. I told Charles he needed to see that. It is a 135-year-old rose bush that was planted there in 1885, a gift to the church from Scotland. There's another one here in town that's listed as the world's largest rose bush, but they charge a fee to go in there, and I'm just not into it. I've been here before. I'm sure you saw a glimpse of it right there. Charles backing his bandit out. Now off to Bisbee. Won't take too long to get there. And you know, trying to edit this video down to 20 minutes or so is not the easiest thing. You have to cut out a whole lot of stuff, and I'm not real good at, shall we say, I don't know, deciding what goes and what stays. So I leave in the stuff I like. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Not really. Yeah, I guess I am. Actually, Tombstone's kind of an interesting town if you can get around the tourist hype stuff. From Old Boot Hill to Allen Street and all that. But mostly it's just, it's tourist, and once or twice is enough. Okay, this is Old Divide Road. Goes in the back, kind of the back way at Bisbee. It's a little on the crooked side. You can stay on 80 and go through the tunnel, and then you have to go off to the left to go into the town of Bisbee. This is usually in my opinion, the best way in because of the. You just come in. I don't even know the name of the street, but you just come in there and you can get to run the length of the town. It's an old mining town. The copper played out in the early part of the 20th century, and by, I think I read in 1950, it was damn near a ghost town, even though it was a county seat. They decided to keep it, put it on the National Registry, keep it looking similar, something like a Victorian era town, and it actually works. There's a lot of artsy type there. They do a lot of antique galleries, or antique stores and art galleries. I guess that's the way it should be. And during the winter, when the snowbirds are here, it's a pretty doggone busy town. And they got tours of the copper mine. I don't think there was any gold or silver down here, but there was a lot of copper at one time. There's talk that maybe they'll reopen some of the old mines, and maybe I've heard they got a couple of new ones they're trying to get open if they can ever get it through the EPA. One down south of Tombstone. I think there's one up in Pinell County in Florence, but I'm sure they'll delay that till there's a layer of ice down in hell. Anyway, this Old Divide Road's pretty cool. There's a tunnel underneath the mountain there on 80, but this is more fun on a motorcycle. It's kind of tight. Speed limit's pretty slow, and I don't think a guy wants to speed too much through here because there's not a lot of traffic. It's awful close to town. Yahoo! That's pretty much Old Divide Road. Now we'll come into town and give you a little bit of a look at it. Tight, narrow streets, crooked, narrow street. But there's some pretty neat stuff. We get down there a little further. This road does a dog leg, a 90 degree to the left and then almost a 90 to the right. I bet you the sheriff's department or the police department don't like getting into a high-speed chase down in here if they've ever got into one. Not a whole lot of room for maneuvering, and as you can see, the curbs are painted red, so there ain't no parking on the right side, which I think is the south side. I guess I should look at my GPS to see what the heck I'm doing. Yeah, I'm heading kind of east. It is pretty down here, though, and I guess now that they've got themselves established and on the National Registry, I guess it's pretty prosperous. I don't come down here very much. It's just not much in my bailiwick. I'll usually just ride through and look at the scenery. I'm supposed to come down here the end of the month for a meeting about a store that wants to move into my neighborhood. And yes, I want them to move there. So I'll have to come down and find the courthouse, find the meeting, go in there and make a fool of myself, I guess. That's generally how those meetings go. Stand up and voice my opinion, which is pretty sappy at times and silly. However, being of the opinion that I don't think any non-voters should even be allowed to voice an opinion in it. I think if you're not a voter, you don't have a vested interest in it. You're just sitting there letting things happen and coming out to complain about things that others might be for. So I'm saying if you didn't vote, stay home. So when I say that, that'll piss off all the county commissioners or supervisors in Arizona. They don't have county commissioners, they have county supervisors. And I'm sure it'll piss off a lot of other people, but you know what? They can FRO. If you don't know what that means, ask Del Boy's Garage. He'll tell you. We're fixing to move into the downtown area where this thing will tighten up now. You can see we got hotels and a lot of bed and breakfast, things like that. Stores built right onto the street. There's not much room for a sidewalk. Kind of reminds me of Central City, Colorado. Some people say Georgetown, but I think it's more like Central City with the crooked narrow streets. Georgetown's also on the National Registry. Central City's not. Of course, they don't have a teller house here either. If you're not familiar with a teller house, look it up. Now, I think I'll go back up to 80 here, and we'll go over to the Copper Queen mine, pull a stop there, get some pictures so you folks can see what an open pit copper mine looks like. I know it's not the biggest one around, that one's in Clifton, but let me tell you, this thing is deep. I've taken pictures there before, and I think I'll grab some of them. Charles and the mine itself, and we're not going to stop and go through do the tour. That's just not on my agenda. I have no reason to get myself underground, and I know part of it is underground. So we'll get up there and go through that, and this will probably be the end of day one, part one. We'll do day one, part two on the mañana or the day after. You know, folks, this editing stuff takes time. Sheesh. For never. Just a little bit up the hill and we'll get to that overlook. We can pull in there and do our thing. There she be. Now comes the real chore, getting off this thing. I got a tank bag, a tail bag, and there ain't much room to swing my body in and out of it. You get a chuckle out of this one. So anyhow, see you later.